Hi everyone, Ash here. This is Indie Insider, and my guest this week is Nicole Bellmore. How are you doing, Nicole?
I'm great. How are you?
Very well, thank you. As I said earlier, it's just horrible weather, but anyway, it's all about you.
Yeah.
Could you tell us, Nicole, how you started in your music career?
Yeah, well, when I was younger, I had always had a passion for music. So from the moment I was born, I was always singing. And then I started doing vocal lessons in theater when I was in my youth and when I was in high school. Um, and then it wasn't till I would say about 2020 that I started to take like my singing career more seriously, and that's when I really started writing a lot more. And then I started working with other people who wrote as well, and kind of learning that process and collaborating with other songwriters, producers, and that's how I really got into it. But I
Okay.
always was writing songs, but I never kind of, you know, took it seriously and like hunkered down until about 4 years ago. So yeah.
And are you glad you actually did that, pursue a music career and not just sort of make it as a hobby?
Yeah, so like I did all those things throughout my youth, and I look back at it now, like those were all things that actually were preparing me for, what I'm pursuing, like all those lessons. I also took piano lessons, all the
Okay.
theater. Um, but it was the songwriting that I needed to kind of focus more on. I actually did go to university, but it was for something completely different. But I was doing music on the side throughout school. And then
Okay.
once school ended, I was like, I need to just put all my energy into this. So that's what I've been doing.
And you've never looked back once. That's good.
Sorry.
You've never looked back?
I've never looked back. Nope.
Oh,
And I
fantastic.
never will.
And Nicole, can you describe your music to someone who has never heard it before?
Yeah, I would say so. My music is a type of pop music that um, aims to kind of invoke a feeling that makes you feel hopeful, makes you feel inspired, makes you feel like anything is possible. When I listen to music and music makes me feel a certain way, especially in that type of way, that's when I feel the most inspired. So my music is pop music that's kind of like dreamy, but it's also upbeat. Some of it's a little more, sensual and
Right.
you in your feels, but at the end of the day, it's fun music, but it will also make you, put you in the right
That's right.
headspace where you feel like anything is possible and that you can do anything in your life.
Oh, great. And tell us, do you have any unique techniques or routines when you approach practicing and rehearsing?
Well, I like to sing just whenever I can. Like there's a lot of techniques that I use that probably lots of singers use, like um, you can sing on the treadmill and that will help your breath control and those types of things.
Okay.
Do you mean techniques in terms of like singing or just in general?
In general.
Yeah, I would say I guess in general, the techniques that I use, like when I'm writing music, I always write a demo myself first. So
Okay.
I think I think my technique is just kind of start as raw as possible, just with a piano and create something that, makes me feel good and hopefully makes other people feel good. But at the end of the day, my goal is always to just, uh, be as authentic and vulnerable as possible because I think that's the best way to connect with people with your music.
I
So.
agree. I agree. And when you write your own music, do you ever get writer's block?
It happened a lot more when I was younger, but I,
Right.
I honestly believe you, the more you write, the less often it'll happen. It still happens either way. But when I first started writing, I did find there were a lot more times where I'd be like, oh, I'm kind of stumped at this chorus. I don't really know where to take it. And now that I've just been doing it for so long, that happens way less. But it still happens. Like it's going to happen to everyone either
Sure.
way. Uh,
Sure.
but I like using that example because I do think it's proof that, don't give up because you keep going and things will come easier
I
as you go
agree.
along the process.
I agree.
But I still get it. It still happens. But honestly, when it does happen, sometimes you just kind of got to take a step back and take a break because if you don't feel like something good is coming out in that moment, then you just kind of got to let it come when the moment's right. But at the
Sure.
same time, sometimes you feel that way and then you look back at whatever you were creating in that moment, like 2 days later, and you're like, wait a second, this is actually good. I don't know what I was thinking.
Just hits you like a boom, there it is.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
What has been the most memorable performance of your career?
Well, I actually last summer I did a performance at a venue called the Axis Club. It's in Toronto.
Okay.
So that would be the most memorable performance in the sense that I was able to sing one of my songs in front of like the biggest crowd probably I've performed in front of. So that was exciting. Um, but most memorable, I want to say that one, but at the same time, when I was younger, my theater performances, they really did shape who I am today as a person. I think they really allowed me to kind of flourish and grow. So I always look back on those experiences very fondly for that reason. But for a recent performance, I would say the one last summer that I did.
Oh, fantastic. And do you have any plans for the future with regards to touring or performing in your town or other cities?
Yeah, so right now, because I'm based in Toronto, most of my performances are in the Toronto area, though I've
Okay.
been connecting with people who kind of want to help me expand. So I'm hoping to be able to tour new cities, whether they be, in Canada or in other countries.
Right.
So that is something that we are actually working on this year. So I'm hoping, especially by next year, maybe I'll be able to visit a lot of places.
I hope you come to the UK. I'd love to come and see you perform.
I would love to come to the UK.
Yes.
I actually have family in Scotland.
Okay.
Yeah, I know
So,
that's not England.
well, yeah, it's just they're totally different. Excuse me, totally different people, I should say. With the accent.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
tell us, Nicole, since you first started performing, has your music evolved from then till to today?
100%. I would say performances do teach you a lot. Um, I think they kind of show they make you learn a lot about yourself as an artist and a performer. But it's kind of interesting how when you perform, then you kind of will shift in terms of your goals for your music when your music is live. Like you might have a performance and go, ooh, the way I kind of groove with this song, like this is how I want to feel every time I'm performing. So when you do perform live,
Right.
your sound does evolve, which I think is really cool. Because when I first started writing, so I have seven songs out now, the
Okay.
perspective that I was, using when I was writing those songs is different now that I've been performing those songs. So now the new songs that I'm writing will end up being a little bit different as my sound evolves because I've been able to perform. So it's kind of cool how
Okay.
how it happens like.
Can
Mhm.
you tell us what the story is behind one of your most popular songs?
Yeah. Well, I would say my most popular song is probably Altitude.
Okay.
Um, so that one, it's like a dreamy pop song. Starts with some piano chords and then it kind of becomes more upbeat as you go along. That song is really about you know, pushing yourself, pushing your boundaries, looking and reflecting on what you've been through in your life and realizing, everything happens for a reason. It's okay to feel a certain type of way in the moment. It's okay to be unhappy. It's okay to cry if you've got to cry. But that doesn't mean you're not capable
Sure.
of, of so much more. And I think everyone in their life has those moments, where they're feeling down and then you kind of need a pick me up. But altitude tries to really just kind of reflect on that being in that position is okay and it's normal and it's natural, but there's so much about life to still look forward to and to stay true to yourself and stay true to your passions, and that will just, you know, lead the way. It
Yeah,
will, yeah.
that's actually very good advice. Really, really good advice. Could you also tell us, Nicole, what is the recording process for your latest album or single?
Yeah, the recording process.
Yes.
Um, so my latest single is called Ever Since October. So that one, it started just with a guitar. So this one was a little bit different because usually I start with the piano by myself and then I'll bring it to like a producer, for example.
Okay.
But this one I started with a producer. So him and I in the studio together started with the guitar. And this song's a little bit slower, a little bit more vibey, a little bit more sensual. Um, so that's how that song started. And then in terms of the recording process, once the song is finished, and we've got a good, writing session down, then I just book a session and I go in and I sing the vocals. And sometimes I'll add harmonies or little ad
Right.
libs. It just kind of depends on what the song calls for, because each song is different. But yeah, the recording process, honestly, for my latest song didn't really take too long. Everything kind of
Oh,
just
wow.
flowed very naturally. So yeah.
Oh, that's good. I think you must pat yourself on the back and say a job well done.
Yeah, it feels good to create something that that means a lot to you, but also is something that you would listen to and that has meaning. I just hope that other people feel the same way. I hope that people can relate to the message and they also hear the song and they like the way it sounds and how it makes
Yeah.
them feel as well, right?
Oh,
So,
that's good. That's the most important to engage with your audience, to engage with your fans, get their feedback on your music, and it makes you even stronger. And it makes you think, I can do this. I will do it. It's opening another door.
mhm.
So my hat off to you.
Thanks. I'm trying my best.
And talking about fans, how do you engage your fans both online and live performances?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, if I do a live performance, I always like to talk to everybody afterwards, like anyone who's there, just chat with people. And I think that's just a really good way to connect with people. Online's a little bit different. I think the way that I try to do that the most, well, first of all, I always try to respond to anybody,
Right.
whether they like reach out to me or leave a nice comment on a video. I don't have a lot of too many people following me at the moment, but I do always try to make the effort to respond to everybody. But aside from that, I think what I aim to do a lot with my YouTube channel is to not only show my music and the music videos, but I also try to do behind the scenes videos where I show
Oh,
the
nice.
process, kind of the mindset behind it. I think, giving that insight kind of allows people to see the process and they can be on the journey with you in that sense. And maybe
Right.
they're on a similar journey and the things you are singing about or talking about, if it's something they can relate to, then, if they're seeing that process and seeing that journey, then I think that they can, you know, feel like they're on that journey as well.
Sure.
They're just on a slightly different journey, but we're doing it together.
Exactly. Hand in hand.
Yeah. So
And
that's how I try to kind of do it online. But
sorry,
yeah,
that sounds actually very good. Do you face any challenges along the way? When you're writing music or performing or you're about to go on stage, how do you overcome your challenges?
100%. I think one of my biggest challenges is being a perfectionist. Um, and I think, you know, when you create music over time, you kind of realize that it's all fun. Like you're doing this because you love it. And even though it might be hard to not be a perfectionist in some ways, you kind of just got to let go of that. But at my core, I am like a perfectionist. So
Okay,
it's
nothing wrong. Yeah.
definitely been it's definitely been that I would say that's my biggest challenge, kind of learning how to navigate that in a creative sense. But and you know what happens when you're writing a song and being like, oh, this could be better. But at the end of the day, you're the only one who would probably even notice that.
No,
No one
yeah.
else would notice that. And then in terms of performances too, like again, you're your own worst critic. I mean, I'm my own worst critic. So sometimes I'll have a performance and I'm like, oh, I was a little off here or there.
Yeah.
And everyone else is like, no, no one noticed that. You're fine.
Yes, you're
So I feel
panicking.
like, yeah, but it happens. So it happens to the best of us.
That's
But we
so
just got,
true.
yeah.
Excuse me. What advice would you give to musicians that would like to start a music career or who are just, sort of trying to not give up, but just like, I can't do it? What advice would you give them?
Yeah. Well, first of all, if you are passionate about music, never stop creating because like it provides you a sense of joy. It makes you happy because it's your passion. So if you're ever feeling down, honestly, the best way is to kind of just be like, you know what? I'm going to create. And whether it turns out great or it turns out like crap, that's fine. Because, you should just keep persevering. And that's easier said than done. But in terms of, things that I wish I knew if I were to start over again, I would say immerse yourself in the community around you as much as you can because there's so many good music communities all over the world. Everyone is in it because they love it. You meet great people, and those people can connect you with other people. You can collaborate with people, like it's just a
Right,
really great way to network and to meet other people who are like you and to become inspired. And it just really pushes you to not want to give up. When you're surrounded by those people, it's just a really great feeling. So if I could go back from the start, I would have wished someone told me to immerse myself in that community as much as possible right from the beginning, because I think it took me a little bit of time to learn that. At first, I was
right.
really focusing on the art itself, which is great because I did learn a lot from that. But if I could go back, I would have been doing both at the same time. I would have been going out there and doing shows while I was going and creating and writing music at the same time. Whereas at first, I was just focusing on the writing and making videos, which is important, like I said, but you do got to get out there and you got to
Yeah,
meet people and you'll have fun.
exactly, exactly. Do you remember your very, very first performance, your live performance, and what was it like for you?
I don't know. Okay, I remember my very first audition ever,
Okay.
and I think I was like 11,
Wow.
and I was
Okay.
so nervous. And I was auditioning for a role in a musical. It was called The Velveteen Rabbit. I was
Oh,
in elementary
sweet.
school at the time.
Very sweet.
Yeah. And I was so nervous and I wanted to do it so bad. But then when I got there, I started crying and I was like, I can't do this.
Oh,
I can't go in there. Mom was like, you can do it. You can do it. So then I went in and I auditioned. And then I ended up, doing many, many shows with that theater company that was in the city that I grew up in. So it was the beginning of um, a lot of good memories. But that was the first time I remember going to sing in front of so many people, and I was so scared and I
oh,
was crying.
that is so sweet,
Yeah.
honestly. And as I said earlier, you've all the things you've accomplished from then up till
Mhm.
today, you wouldn't change one thing.
No, yeah, I do believe everything happens for a reason, and there's many lessons that I've learned along the way. So I'm very grateful for everything that's happened in every, order that it's happened in every way that it's
Oh,
happened. But it's
fantastic.
funny to look back and be like, wow, I was so scared and I was crying and
Oh, you just think, why
yeah.
did I do that? I shouldn't have done that. It
Yeah.
was silly. um,
Yeah. And then
Nicole,
yeah. So.
if you could just describe your, not describe, but we're just about out of time. What I meant to say is if you could just tell people where they can follow you or where they can buy your music from and your social media.
Yeah. So my music is available on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, iTunes. You can pretty much find it anywhere. So my name is Nicole Bellmore, Nicole Bellmore. So that is where you can find all my music. You can look me up. You can also find my YouTube channel under the same name, where you can pretty much see everything from all my music videos, songs, vlogs, because I also do vlogs, behind the scenes stuff as well. And honestly, you can find all my social medias just under my name. So I'm pretty easy to find. So Instagram,
Fantastic.
YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. Yeah.
Oh, great. Well, Nicole, I just want to thank you for taking time out of your day to come and chat with us. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me. I'm
No, it's
very
a
honored.
pleasure. It's a pleasure. And everybody that's listening, please follow Nicole. She's amazing. Buy her music, support her. She's fantastic.
Thank you. I really appreciate
No
you saying
problem.
that.
Well, Nicole, have a great day, my sweetheart. And I'm hoping we'll catch up soon.
Absolutely. We will be in touch. And thank you
Definitely.
again for having me.
No problem. Thanks, Nicole. See you then.
See ya. Have a good one.
Bye.